if you're feeling this way, you are a human at the end of the day. At the end of the day, and you do have emotions, which helps you like see how God understands that. Like he didn't give you an ultimatum of like, okay, well, if you do this, then it's over for you now. You know what I mean? He's understanding of that. But when you see how he said, if they follow or not, he's still gonna provide. So the next part I'll read, and it says, "And it shall come to pass that on the sixth day they shall prepare that which they brung in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily." So this is kind of saying like God is gonna give you abundance every time. You may feel like it's not an abundance, but that's just what your heart is. If you in your side your heart you feel like this is enough, that's what enough is. Just because you look at somebody else and you say that they got a brand new car or they got a brand new house, they got married, they got a nice job, they got the fanciest clothes, that doesn't mean that they are taking in more than they have. And I think that's a perspective for some people to realize. Somebody's life is not your life. So there's no need to compare. Meaning, sometimes you have to see that maybe that person needs a brand new Mercedes. Maybe that person needs a brand new house. Maybe that person needs the nicest clothes in the world, but that's because that's what's in their heart. And God knows what's in their heart at the end of the day. Some people, they don't need a big house. Some people just want to sit there. I'm going to say it. Some people want to be homeless. They are okay and content with the simple fact that they can walk freely and they don't have to worry about bills. They don't have to worry about whether or not they have a roof over their head because they have a certain heart posture. They are appreciative of what God provides to them on the daily. So this is also saying, like, if somebody works at, a 9-to-5 job and they only get 15 an hour, they're content with that. That's because that's what God provides for them, because God knows exactly what they need. And when you know what you need, instead of understanding only what you want, that's the difference, So we're going to skip ahead, and I'm running out of time here, but I'll go to Exodus 16, verse 12. And it says, "I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel." And it says, "Speak unto them, saying, At even ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God." So in this part, I just want you to focus on the fact that God said he heard them complaining, and he says, you guys will eat flesh. Because they were saying, oh, you brought us out of Egypt and we didn't get to have any, pots of flesh. He's saying, you know what? I'm going to compromise and sacrifice. And that's in itself seeing the fact that God is making a first sacrifice. Meaning, to understand sometimes when God is bringing you out of something, you have no idea what's being sacrificed on your behalf. You don't know what prophecy or what purpose is being filled or what you yourself have to serve in to make God's plan, fulfill in the proper form, But yeah, God's going to provide for you at the end of the day. So there should be no need for you to complain or disrespect God or disregard God for who he is, which is all things. And even if you're watching me, God is right there inside of you right now. You might not feel it, but he's there regardless of whether you feel like it or not. So that's an example of you kind of disregarding him, which should also help you understand you got to know who he is and take your time and give yourself patience and understanding to be able to get to that point with your relationship with him. And then the next part is, and when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, "It is manna." So manna is the bread, basically. So remember last time, 2 weeks ago, I was mentioning the process of the folding of the bread. And that process entails how they were brought out of Egypt. But this time, they were, brought out of the land of Egypt, which was the sin and the heartache and troublesome. And they were brought into this new life. But this wasn't the same bread. This was the bread of God. This was the bread that God provided. This was the life, the bread of life that they really needed. This was the actual fullness that they were yearning for and complaining about and wanting the whole time. And this is where God introduced that simple fact that he is who he is, and he's, the Almighty, and he's going to provide, and he's going to help you get out of whatever you need to get out of, because he wants you to come closer to him. He wants you to follow him. He wants you to follow his instruction. And once you see that part, you see how the comparison from the bad bread and the good bread. This bread was nice. This bread was sweet. This bread was filled with Holy Spirit. This bread was a miraculous thing that, just came from the ground. You know what I mean? And this was something that was uprooted from the ground, meaning this bread was uprooted from, the Lord, And, that's just an example. And then it says, and Moses said unto them, this is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, and omer for every man, according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. So that's just saying, like I was mentioning, God's going to,